I think this is probably the least product-centric launch I've seen Samsung do, and that might actually be a good thing. Meet the Galaxy S24 series, a very familiar look, but with a new slogan that focuses more on something else. Samsung is calling out that its Galaxy AI is here, and I know, the term artificial intelligence is everywhere today, not just here. What's interesting, though, is that Samsung's approach is unique in a couple of ways, and dare I say, most, which are pretty awesome. I'm Jaime Rivera with Pocketnow, and let's dive into our hands-on. Let me start with a couple of disclaimers. At the time of recording, we were briefed and we had a good 2 hours with the products, along with some interesting demos, but still no press release, so forgive any possible changes in what we were told and what you'll get to see at Galaxy Unpacked. Also, this would be the first briefing I remember where we only talked phones, so we could assume the bet on the new Galaxies is pretty big. So, alright, yes. 3 new phones, the Galaxy S24, Galaxy S24 Plus, and Galaxy S24 Ultra. Obviously, we know that on one extreme we have the cream of the crop, and on the other, the smaller, least expensive variant. That said, this year the Plus variant gets a ton of improvements over its previous middle child treatment. Their design language looks very similar, but far more refined in my opinion than ever before. The base models remain of aluminum and Gorilla Glass Victus 2, but this time there's a flat approach to the borders, even if not sharp. The bezels have been slightly reduced, making each display a hair larger at 6.2 and 6.7 inches diagonal. The regular remains at Full HD Plus resolution, but then the S24 Plus graduates to Quad HD Plus, even if both now get full variable refresh rate from 1 to 120 Hz, along with a peak brightness of 2600 nits. As for internals, these are powered by the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 in the United States. No word about international variants while we were briefed. The base model starts at 8/128 in RAM and storage, while the Plus starts at 12/256. The batteries also grew a hair, and they both include the latest forms of connectivity except Wi-Fi 7. For whatever reason. Now, for any of you expecting updates to the camera system on these models, well, it seems this is not really the case. Not even sure if we're getting new sensors here, cause the batch of megapixels and their focal length information is exactly the same as last year, along with their design language. Colors are now cobalt violet, amber yellow, marble gray, and onyx black, with prices starting at $800 for the base model, $1,000 for the Plus variant, though keep in mind that there are a ton of great deals for them that I'll be sure to link in the description. Obviously, the star of the show is the Ultra, which is the most changed, even if the updates aren't necessarily noticeable. To start, we have a new titanium frame with a satin finish for an easier grip. Heck, the device is even thinner than before, making it easier to handle. The screen now brings a new Corning Gorilla armor for increased impact resistance, scratch resistance, and screen glare reduction. Also, we finally get a fully flat display, which we've missed since the Galaxy Note 5. Also, notice how the display corners are pretty much fully squared off, and the chin is now symmetrical, striking down some odd rumors we got. The panel is of the same size as before at 6.8 inches diagonal, but its 42% slimmer bezels help it be slightly shorter, and with a punch hole that's 11% smaller than before. Specs on the display remain mostly the same, which is already class-leading, but peak brightness also got a boost to 2600 nits. When it comes to the internals, we have heard that the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 is here and global, so this might be the device to get. RAM and storage start at 12/256 and go up to a terabyte. We have the latest connectivity, including Wi-Fi 7, faster charging options, a new vapor chamber liquid-type TIM cooling system, and improvements in ray tracing for gaming, even if other essentials like the battery remain the same. Now, I am sure you guessed the names of the colors being titanium black, titanium yellow, titanium violet, and titanium gray, with a launch price of $1,300. Now, as for the camera system, the spec sheet, particularly on the Ultra, brings a very controversial change, as the ultra-wide primary and 3x sensors remain the same, but then the 10x telephoto now gets reduced to 5x, though with 5 times more megapixels. The company claims this allows optical quality from the ultra-wide all the way up to 10x this time for sharper photos and video. There's also a new color tuning engine for a more natural look that was much overdue. Now, more than half the presentation was all about AI, so let's keep talking camera, but this pretty much applies to all 3 variants. Samsung calls this its most intelligent camera system ever through its Pro Visual engine, even if some of its features might sound very pixel familiar. AI enhancements include noise reduction through gyro movement information. We have improved object recognition for better scene adaptation. The enhanced detail while zooming through AI detection of the environment that we've also seen in pixels for years. The photo editor now has more contextual awareness and a generative edit function for object eraser or enhancer, and yeah, you've seen that before on the Pixel as well, but here shadow and reflection removal will also be suggested automatically, and the more photos you take, the more these suggestions will improve. Generative edit can even reframe a picture and fills the missing portions through generative AI, which you mostly have to pay for in apps like Photoshop. Instant slow-mo is probably one of my favorite video features, where AI can interpolate extra frames for a neat slow motion effect that's pretty intuitive. Samsung also claims its work with essential third-party applications like Instagram for your photos and videos to not lose quality when you post, so trust me, we will be testing that extensively. Now, as for the rest of the AI features on One UI 6.1 on top of Android 14, let's just say I first thought that a ton of these were gimmicks in the presentation, but the demos helped a lot in showcasing just how useful these can be. Circle to search is probably one of the coolest features I got to see, but the one I least believed in until I tried it. Long press the home button or bar, circle anything with your S Pen or finger, and then an overlay with a Google search pops up without yanking you out of whatever it is you're doing. This idea of being able to search for whatever I want on the spot is seriously cooler than it seems, because I'm one of those people that's constantly looking for information on Wikipedia and then forgets to get back to where I was, and I'm sure it happens to you too. Now, there are 3 pretty useful translator features that come with Live Translate. In one, you can seamlessly communicate with someone in up to 13 supported languages and 7 dialects by using half the phone as an interpreter in real time, and yeah, we've seen that before. But then the second is probably the coolest one, where you can use it during a call and the application serves as an interpreter to the other end, and also in their responses back to you, allowing you to have a full-blown conversation that work far better than expected. The third is that since it's built into the keyboard, you can automatically translate messages as you receive them and respond back in your language, while the Galaxy does all the interpreting for you in real time. There's also an updated voice recorder that mimics what Pixels have done for years, where you can get a transcription in real time, but going a step further, the Galaxy can also translate the recording, which can be pretty handy if you're in a meeting in another language. Chat Assist is then another feature where you can have the Galaxy help you select a different tone for your messaging, because true, we don't always find the right words on the spot, and all this works again from your keyboard. Note Assist is then an update that lets you get a quick summary, check your spelling and grammar, or also translate your notes to another language on the fly. There's even a new auto formatting feature to give notes a more professional look, so you don't have to be worrying about that as you fill them out. These are then easier to find, as they are now searchable through category or their quick summary. Heck, even your handwritten notes can now be straightened after you're done. Browsing Assist then lets you get a summary and translate websites within the Samsung browser, though it's yet to be seen if these will be more than just the 3 bullet points we get from Google right now, which is honestly just useless. To conclude, yeah, this was probably the longest hands-on that I've ever done, and it has a lot to do with this just being a very packed set of features coming to the Galaxy S24 series. There was a lot of talk about the environmental efforts and all, but my favorite really is that we finally get 7 years of OS and security updates. Bravo Samsung for doing the right thing we saw earlier from Google. Overall, I have to say that this is probably the first time that I'm excited about the software features. They didn't really seem like gimmicks. This is also the first time that I like all the colors I got to see, and also the first time that I'm curious to trust an Android phone with my social media. Obviously, yeah, stay tuned as our full review will help us see if implementation was just as good as the presentation. Let us know what you think in the comments down below, and while you're at it, follow us on social media and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this one. You can also follow me on my personal handles to see me get a first glimpse at the Galaxy Unpacked. Please give this video a thumbs up if you like what you saw. I'm Jaime Rivera. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.